right, here we are back for part number 2 of the FearFishing webcast. We'll do a quick introduction. I'm Ian West, CEO, owner-operator of FearFishing.com.
Rich Farragher.
Marley.
Amber, the CFO.
And our fill-in MC of the night, producer, Adam.
And I'm Adam.
So let's jump right in here. We got BP coming up, Brandon Palanuik. He's going to be the guest in this hour of the webcast. But jumping back to where Corey was at, and when we were talking about fishing becoming mainstream, we found a couple awesome pictures this week of celebrity fishermen.
Yeah, we did. The Ryan Sheckler being one of them.
Ryan
Who
Sheckler,
knew the guy fished?
Mr. Red Bull, skateboarding, who was on that new Justin Bieber video that we've been watching a lot.
A lot.
We have watched it a lot.
I've been here quite a bit this week. And it's,
a fisherman.
If you
go on the FearFishing webpage or FearFishing anything, you'll see that Ryan Sheckler picture of him deep sea fishing.
Yeah, I was kind of impressed actually. I mean, there's so many celebrities out there, and like big name celebrities,
like the Rock.
The Rock. He's got a bass pond at his house.
From what I understand, it's more like a bass lake.
A lake.
And he stocked these fish, and he's
why
watched
wouldn't he
them
own
grow.
a lake?
But guys are fishing. Mainstream celebrities, people, fishing's becoming mainstream, bigger and bigger as we go.
And if somehow, one of them sees this webcast,
Ryan or Dwayne,
we
like
would
to talk
love
to you.
Not only to talk to you, but to maybe go fishing with you.
I'll go fishing with anybody.
Yeah, that's true. He fishes
all
with
of your
me.
rods.
Yeah, can you
The Rock
imagine
will
that?
break our rods.
Can you imagine that setting hook and it just explodes?
The Rock bottom.
Do you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Oh, I knew that was coming.
Frying up bass.
The steelhead. Let's talk about the steelhead this year on the north side of the Great Lakes.
I'm not a big steelhead guy myself.
No, you're not. But
No.
but growing up, Marley and I have done a ton of steelhead, and I've been like 2 or 3 times in the last couple of weeks, and it seems like there's no steelhead. Nobody's getting them. If they're getting them, it's 1 or 2 a day, 3 or 4, and the local hardcore steelheader guys tell me if you got 6 fish a day, you're doing real well. And 5 years ago, it was 20 fish days over and over again. And Marley can contest for this. Like you could go every morning and get 20 rainbows, and you used to go before work, man, and
45 minutes.
and lay the smackdown on them.
A slow day would be like 6.
Yeah,
In 45 minutes,
Like no
you
joke.
get 6.
For
Now, if you get 6 a day,
you're doing good.
you're the pro.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I don't know what's happened to them. And again, comment below, and we'll get to those. But it's tough go.
Yeah, and
It's probably my guess is the American stocking, and that those fish
the
aren't coming
stocking-
across.
The stocking numbers are down. I did speak to a couple of people over Facebook, and one group was out of Pulaski, New York, and they're saying they're not catching anything.
Really,
Like, nothing at all
even on the American side.
on the American
If
side.
we have any American steelheaders out there on the South Shore of Lake Ontario, we want to hear from you.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And, why do we always deal with this stuff when it becomes a problem? Why aren't we looking forward?
And that's it. Is it because of the
I don't know.
like the limits?
No, the limits were changed to 2 fish in a boat, I believe, and from shore fishermen, which is good. I think maybe that was just 10 years too late.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Is it between that and the stocking?
I don't know what the answers are.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just
if
know
anyone knows the answer, let us know.
know there's less steelhead to catch, and they're not there, and they weren't there last year either.
And
Last year was terrible.
And I had the complete drive to even pick up a float rod myself and to start. But
the big
now,
thing is
why bother?
Last year was terrible, and the guys are telling me that this year is better, and it's still terrible.
Wow.
Amber, did you have something on the social media feed?
It came over your messaging.
Oh, my messaging?
Brandon actually messaged you, and he says, "Is it all right if there's a little background noise from my family?"
No problem. You tell Brandon he can have his family on the show.
Yeah, why not? The
Yeah.
more the merrier.
We could talk to Brandon's parents about when Brandon was young.
Oh, maybe some pictures?
Could you ask him that, Amber, if his family could get some...
we'll just invite them on.
Yeah, if his family could get some photos out.
We'd like to see some photos of you as a baby.
Yeah.
Naked in a bathtub.
No, don't write that.
Okay, fine.
We'd like Brandon to continue to talk to us and be our friend.
Don't
But
completely
like to see
creep him out.
some Baby photos?
Yeah, sure. Maybe we'll ask like
Anyhow.
Brandon 3 questions and we'll talk to his parents.
That'd be
Why
sweet.
not?
Why? It's fear fishing.
It could be
That's
like
it.
Nana and the turkey again, showing my baby picture.
And yeah, wasn't
That
that
was
classic.
like that was epic.
Yeah.
I laughed.
That was
I
really
loved it.
funny.
I like when she waved to everybody.
Yeah.
The other things going on at fear fishing are Marley, you're building an ice hut.
That's what
Oh.
we do in Canada.
That's
Build
Frosty.
ice hut. and I think we talked a couple weeks ago about the ice hut, and I drove by the other day, and it's taking up your driveway now.
Triumphant. That's for sure.
It's getting bigger, and we've been getting messages from fans from Fear Fishing
Yeah.
who notice the ice hut. So, what have you changed in the design of the ice hut for this go around?
I'm being told it's like the Taj Mahal of all ice huts.
It's pretty epic. The scary part is I go home and the baby girl's like, "Daddy's house."
Daddy's house.
So I don't know what her mother's been telling her. But
and I saw the stove outside, so it's getting ready to
yeah,
to
we're
get
old,
in.
so
So is,
we learned a lot from the first one. So
What happened to the first one?
Yeah,
the first one ended up in Gore's Landing.
yeah,
On the bottom?
apparently when there's
No.
clear ice, you need to tie it down because the whale will go like no joke 5K down the lake.
Oh yeah.
And it was
We couldn't get it back.
they couldn't
'cause
get it
We
back.
didn't have it on skis.
Oh yeah.
So I built
Just
skis this
pushing
year.
snow.
We made it smaller.
Nice.
Tried to lighten it up a bit.
what is the seating situation in this one? How many holes are you got?
The last one we did 3 holes,
Okay.
and we did smaller holes.
Yeah.
But the ice heaves up on the floor,
Okay.
and it just destroys it. So I went with one big hole in the center.
One big hole.
One big hole.
Yeah.
Nice.
So now you
The,
can
the
punch your
Gosport trough.
holes.
Fishing is a development. Like you can't just think you're gonna get it right the first time, because the first one, even when we got it off the sleigh, when I helped you drag it out there the first time, it was crooked when he built it. I mean, it was square when you built it, but by the time you got to the ice, it's not real good to be square on the ice.
No,
You
it
got
was
you.
crooked when we built it.
Was it?
Yeah, it was terrible. You had to walk in the door sideways.
Yeah, do you remember that? But the door would shut at your house, and by the time we got to the ice, it would not shut.
Yeah.
So,
And he built a motorcycle, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah.
Steel is easier.
Yeah.
You can feel the gas as well.
That's awesome. What else do we got on the? Do we got a question? Let's do a question before we get Brandon on
Yeah.
here.
Sorry, I've been talking to Brandon.
Oh,
I
Oh, no
just-
big deal.
no
It's
big
okay.
deal.
It's okay.
Brandon's
She's
working my
sleeping in the
woman.
morning.
Well,
Oh, I just lost the page.
anyways, what about the Bass Pro rumors?
So the rumor is, and I'm sure everybody by now has seen the Bass Pro Shops rumor that on November 9th they purchased Cabela's,
Wow.
and then I think it was around like the 13th or 14th, this article or this news report from out west somewhere
Mm-hmm.
that from a Cabela's employees that had got word from their manager that they'd been bought and that they didn't know what was going on, and that Bass Pro Shop officially on the 9th had bought them. So Johnny
So-
Morrison owns everything.
Does he own it, or is this actually a rumor?
I can't say for sure that this is fact.
Right.
But there's got to be some truth to a rumor.
There usually is.
There's something there.
We'll find out.
And my question is, do you think they're going to take the Cabela's name away if they
No.
do own it, or are they going to run Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's?
I think it'll be a Bass Pro run Cabela's.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
and
it'll cost too
there's
much
a good
to change
chance.
the name.
This is a good chance, and here's what I was thinking. In knowing big business, there's a good chance that they didn't want anybody to know that Bass Pro.
Well, it's like Best
had-
Buy and Future Shop, right?
That's right. They were the same company,
Yeah, 1 week Best Buy has a sale, and then next week Future Shop has the exact
and maybe
same
they
sale.
were hoping at the Bass Pro Shops to just buy it, keep it under wraps,
Yep.
and then own both.
Yep.
And compete against themselves. But and I don't know, if I was a successful businessman, I'd own the Real Fishing Joe with Baba Zumi. So I don't know, but that makes sense to me if you were gonna, why it was so hush hush, and it's quite possible that rumors just got out of hand and they haven't even made an offer. There's quite a possibility that they haven't
It
talked.
might be. It could be Dick's Sporting Goods for all we know.
I don't know if Dick's is big enough to buy the
Well, who
Cabela's or
knows?
Bass Pro.
Who knows?
What are your thoughts, Marley?
I don't know what they're gonna do. I think they just need a store closer to us.
Yeah, it is a long drive, but we have Gagnons.
We do have Ganyons.
We do have
It's the
Ganyons.
go-to.
And the big box store has its ups, but it has its downs. A small store like Ganyons is where I like to go hang out. If I want to go talk fishing, I'm going to swing by the Ganyons and I'm going to go in it and talk fishing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard if the Bass Pro Shops has a sale on and you really need this thing, and
Well, yeah, sure.
your favorite jerkbait's gone on sale for $1.19.
Yep.
It's pretty tough to pass that up. But if I want to go like hang out and talk fishing, I'm going to go to Gagnon Sports. In
Yeah,
Oshawa.
for sure. Yep.
Yep.
And with my experience, it's a fun place to hang out.
It is a fun place to hang out. It is definitely, and I
Like,
go
if
there
they
all the
have a
time.
dog and everything?
Yeah, for sure.
Sweet.
Justin's
Legion.
dog's awesome. Legion.
Legion.
We watched
Sweet
Legion
dog.
almost eat Nick Arnott.
Oh.
He did, and I didn't even see the dog hardly move all day until Nick come in.
And he's in love with Nick, eh?
Yeah, he chased him down at the
yeah,
door.
he was like, "Oh my God, Nick, the boy has arrived." So that was really cool, and
Yeah.
it's got that family feel to it, right? And
Yep,
if you
for
want to
sure.
go talk fishing and pick some fishing gear up, then I like that small town,
Yeah,
that
Yep.
small shop feel.
yeah. You don't feel like you're a number a place like that.
Amber, you got a quick question?
I lost the feed.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, you have multiple.
When we have Brandon on, could you get that feedback?
Yeah, Brandon actually just messaged you and he said he was actually waiting to eat his elk burger.
Okay, let's get Brandon on.
So, do you want me to text
Brandon's
him?
ready? Tell him we're coming.
All right.
Let's bring Brandon on.
I'm actually jealous. An elk burger, although we did
I'm jealous.
stop in at the Olympus Burger,
We did stop into the Olympus
nice
Burger.
segue.
which
Yeah,
was
nice.
That was professional.
pretty good. Come on,
I love
Look
the
at
Olympus
me.
Burger. I had the biggest. I think I had the Aries tonight.
What did
Usually I
what
have the
was
Apollo.
that?
You had the Apollo.
The Apollo. Oh, so
With
good.
The egg.
The egg and the
Sweet.
oh,
You
yeah.
have to look at the secret menu.
Okay, Adam.
Oh.
Call our man
I think
Brandon.
I'm gonna challenge him on this food challenge.
Make sure you add the video. Yep, you're good. I've never had elk.
I have.
I
Have
just
you?
had
Really good.
bison for the first time and it was so good.
No way.
Yeah.
Where was I?
Really?
Yeah.
Bison burgers, eh?
One of the ladies that I work with, she brought some in for us to have.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, poo.
Hit that callback button right there. Bison burger. And where'd you have that, honey? Somebody you
At
know
work.
brought it in?
Yeah, Donna brought it in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I don't
It
think
was
I've ever
so
had bison
good.
either.
Oh, so good. She's gonna get me some next time it's in.
Nice. Do they like legitimately hunt buffalo still?
I don't think so.
I think
I
just farm
don't
raised.
think so.
Farm raised?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello.
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 gee.
Do you dig it? There he
There
is.
he is.
There he is. How's it going, my man?
Good.
Good. How
I'm
is
just sitting here watching everyone else eat.
That's what I heard. Amber just told us that via text that you're having elk burgers.
Yeah. Yeah. Be jealous.
I've never had
Oh,
elk.
I am.
What is elk comparable to? Is it like whitetail or better?
It'd be like tail on heaven's steroid.
Well, let's jump right into this where we don't have to. Your food doesn't go cold. You had a big storm out there in Idaho last night, and you spent the day chainsawing.
Luckily, I didn't
Oh, you're breaking
have
up,
to do
Brandon.
at all. Windstorm like 70, 8-mile winds. That pretty much wiped out the town. It's not like tornado at us, but
That's
they
crazy.
declared a state of emergency. There's power lines down
Oh
everywhere.
wow.
Oh wow, is it still blowing out there now? Is it still windy?
No, today is actually nice.
That's
It
awesome.
was just yesterday afternoon and last night.
And a tree actually landed on your parents' house.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, I did.
That's
On
crazy.
their brand new roof that they just got built.
Oh,
Oh
man.
no way. That's tough. So let's jump right into this, and we'll get the fishing questions out of the way first. You're known as like, for us anyway up here, as like Mr. St. Lawrence, Mr. Finesse Fishing, But this year on the Big Bass Classic down in Texas, you know, you really showed that you can play in the big boys with the largemouth too. So what makes you such a well-rounded angler? Like, you know, some guys are really good at smallmouth, some guys are really good at largemouth, but you seem to be consistent with both. And what contributes to that?
I don't know. I haven't had people that was consistent in that, but everyone is pretty good. And I think a lot of that has to come from up here in Idaho. All of our lakes, they're mixed. Smallmouth, largemouth. With the big lakes at quarter A are pretty split 50-50 on smallmouth now. And they just continue to get bigger and bigger. And I think just growing up here that I learned both, you know, years and years ago, it was pretty much all one with largemouth. But now, with there being smallmouth and they continue to get big, I had to adapt it really and largemouth to be able to win.
We're having a hard time hearing you, Brandon. We got a bad connection, I think. How's the connection on your end with us?
Good.
It's just coming through slow. It's all right. So basically, Idaho becoming more adaptable to a 50-50 mix is what Brandon attributed his success to both fish. And that's a really good point, and that's what it's really like up here. We don't have those gigantic largemouth, but we have big smallies. The next thing we want to jump into is we've all fished the St. Lawrence River, and you did the big run to Lake Ontario. You know, that's a huge run, man. I've made the run from, like, it's a huge run. I've made a 60-mile run, and I know that you, like, demolished that. And how far did you actually go?
I was running around 110 to 100 about 15 miles, depending on where I was stopping to fish. And I was pretty blessed with the weather that we had, even though it was no cakewalk. I mean, there was a few 6-footer out there, but it was nothing compared to the actual Wednesday of practice. I went out there and I made the run because I knew I was going to fish from there. There's pretty solid 8-footers at the mouth of the river. That's on Wednesday crazy. When I went out there.
And anybody who hasn't made the run, the St. Lawrence can be beautiful, and as soon as you hit that mouth of the river by Wolf Island, it's a whole different ball game. And you're committed at that point.
I would literally run 80 miles, 73 miles an hour up the river, and within, I would say, about a mile and a half of the mouth of the river, you would start to feel it roll. Your boat would just kind of lift just a little bit, and then the closer you got to the mouth, the worse it got.
Yeah, for sure.
And it really bad. I'd actually run straight out into it, 6 or 7 miles, and then cut across the trough. And once I got in the trough, it wasn't at an angle you could run 45, 50 miles an hour inside the trough.
And when you were going into that event, and were you going to go whether the waves were big, or did you have a backup plan? Or if they were 6-footers, you were going and that's where the fish were? Because I know you had to make the classic, plan. Right?
I never made a cast in practice in the river.
Wow.
I only practiced the lake, so I had no backup plan. And it was so good down there that I thought if I had 45 minutes to fish, that I would have a legitimate. I figured if I had 45 minutes a day, I could still win.
And that's commitment. Like
that's confidence.
That's a big, and that's confidence in that, you're going to get it done in, that time period. Like that 45 minutes isn't very long.
No.
Brandon, how'd you get started in fishing?
No.
Sorry, man, I didn't mean to cut you off there. How did you get started in fishing as a kid?
Definitely, my parents took me out all the time from when I was little. My mom packed me around mountain lakes before even walk. So I was introduced to fishing as a whole really young. And then I think I was about 8 years old when I had a family friend that fished local tournaments took me out on a bass boat for the first time, and that's really how I got started into the whole tournament, scenario. And from there, I guess spent my life trying to fish for a living. I did other things on the side, but that was the main goal, was always to try to figure out how to fish on the Elite Series.
And what made you, or what were the circumstances that jumped you from like an amateur to the Elite Series? Like, what did you have to do to because the Canadians don't know how you qualify or anything like that. So what made you, make that step to, I'm going to fish the Elite Series and this is what I'm going to do?
Yeah, being from Idaho, I had really about the only way to make it for me. It was the same as you guys have. That was through the Federation. And so I spent 7 years fishing in the Bass Federation Nation, and I fished the TBF at the same time. So I was fishing dual federations, trying to make either tour at the time. And finally, after 7 years, I won the Federation Championship down on the Red River in 2010. And at that point, I did not have the money to fish the Elites, but I was going to do whatever it took. So I just accepted the invitation and figured out I'd pay for it later.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's worked out. Like that was a good, a good gamble, man.
And luckily, yeah, I haven't had to turn back and go to a normal job in the last 5 years. So it worked out well. It could have been absolutely major disaster, but I figured I was young enough to dig myself out of a hole.
Okay, so we've covered the bass fishing. Now let's get to the walleye, because
walleye's
king in Canada. In Canada, there's like bass fishing is like sub part of the walleye. Everybody here catch it, and they call them pickerel. Everybody in Canada for some reason calls them pickerel. What is your and I've seen those videos on YouTube. What is the biggest walleye to date that you've caught?
The biggest one I've ever caught is 18.3. That's 18 ounces. It was a giant, absolute freak. It was the measurements. It was 33 inches long and it was 22 inches around, and just an absolute freak. And we've caught quite a few over the 16-pound range, but we'd never broke 17. We'd got 6.5, 6 3/4. But we could never break 17, and we put that one in the net, and I knew instantly that it was over 17. I didn't know how big it was, and at the time, the state record was like just over 19.
Wow.
And so I thought I had a shot at that. Any other state around, I would have broke it in, but I actually caught it over just not far from my house, about an hour and a half in Washington. And
wow.
I mean, it was a pound off the state record. Would have been a state record nearly anywhere else in the country.
I wish you could see the look on my tournament partner's face right now, because he's like a walleye guy and his jaw is like open wide. Now, that's a huge fish, and you're catching them on swim baits.
Yeah, so actually I caught that one on a blade bait in the day.
No way.
So what we do is we fish during the day and we fish at night, both. But during the day we throw a lot of blade baits for these fish, and then we'll also, if they're kind of slow and not real active, we'll throw either like the Berkeley Gulp minnow, the 4-inch minnow, or the Gulp goby on a jig head, and that's how we catch a lot of them too. Nice. But most of the big ones we catch are at night. That's when you don't get very many bites, but we throw 6, 7 up to 10-inch swim baits for these walleye, and it's because coming in, they're feeding on trout. There's a trout hatchery or a trout breeding program there, and these walleye, since they're light sensitive, their eyes are light sensitive, they come in there at night, and during the winter, when it's the absolute most miserable fishing conditions, is when these trout go up to the bank. And so we'll catch these 16 to 18 pound walleye in 5 to 10 foot of water at night.
Wow, that is absolutely insane. Yeah, I wish you could see his face, because he's just like drooling right here.
The part that bothers me is you talk about it like
the whole time.
You talk about it like it's no big deal to catch a 16
pounder. Now, given our
I caught a 10.
there was Amber caught a 10 pound. Do you ice fish?
A little bit. You know, we don't get the ice like you guys get. The backs of the bays will freeze up, and some of the smaller lakes here will freeze. But we can still launch a boat and fish open water all year long.
Okay, so in 2 weeks, maybe a month from now, because it's kind of warm out, we're going to be froze up solid. We're talking like 20 inches ice, man. Like we can't launch a boat anyway.
Miserable.
Amber, who's my fiance, who's in the webcast, she got 2 walleye over 10 pounds through the ice last year. So she's
So that's cool.
She's only like 10 pounds herself.
Yeah, she's a little tiny thing, but she has become like the walleye god.
Yes.
When it comes to ice fishing,
Goddess.
because I go in the hot weather and I catch nothing, and all I end up doing is grabbing her monster walleye all night long.
And cooking hot dogs.
Yeah, he feeds me.
So, and as soon as guys up here in Canada see this, that you can catch them in swim bait in 5 feet of water, the Bay of Quinte is going to be littered with guys
Oh, we gave away.
with
Swim
swim
baits
baits trying to catch these giant walleye because they're migrating now, like 13, 14 pounds. There was an 18-pounder caught last winter through the ice.
What was that, Adam?
18 pounds, 7 ounces.
Through the ice on a. So we're here, man.
It's ice. What do? Cut a block of ice out around it?
No, you got like an 8-inch auger and you drill a hole and you sit in your hut and you jig with your flasher.
And heat.
And
Lots
heat.
of
Yeah,
heat.
no, I get the concept, but how do you fit an 18-pound walleye through an 8-inch hole?
You
Very
pull,
good.
man.
There are 10-inch holes.
In Bay of Quinte, we don't have 8-inch holes. We use 10.
So you had 10-inch hole and you just pull. When you see a head like that come up to the ice hole, you just reach down there and grab it. You gotta
And
go.
it just kind of like sucks down around through it.
Yeah, that's right. They're pretty skinny when you get pulling.
You spray a little hammer around there on the ice. That's a little bit
Bacon
flatter.
grease.
We just talk about one style of hole that we often cut, and it's a lot of the Gosport guys. That's a little community around here. We call it the trough. Literally just a chainsaw hole. Just a massive hole.
Yeah.
So we have like 12 and 13 pounders here, but we don't consistently get 18.
No.
And it might be, it's like one a winner. How many of these giant walleye are you getting in your fall hunt? Because I know you're really into catching these giant walleye.
And say, if we go 10 times over the course of the winter, if we spend 10 nights out there, we'll probably catch 6 or 7 that are over 15.
Wow.
Come on.
Yeah, look at my tournament partner is just shaking his head. He is blown away. That's awesome.
You go out there and you might catch 1 fish in the night. You know, we'll start fishing at 8:30 at night and we'll quit fishing at 2 at night. And I mean, you guys know about cold. So we've had issues where when the fish is actually good and you're catching multiple fish, net one, and you just pick up the net to net the next fish, and you can't get the net off the deck because it's frozen.
Wow. That sounds like ice fishing when you.
I mean, there's all kinds of problems. But it's, I mean, for a walleye fishery, it's probably, I would say, arguably one of the best at catching fish over 16 pounds. Now, we don't catch the huge numbers of, you know, that 10 to 12 pound range. Like you guys have 18 pound in range.
Yeah.
And way more than what we have. But as far as trophy, possible world record type walleye, I think it's pretty tough to beat. And it's a lot of
sure.
4-inch, right?
Oh,
The dog.
the puppy's here.
I have no power in my house, so we're hanging out at my parents'
Oh, nice.
No problem,
and,
dude.
they don't like to freak out on anything. They live out in the woods, so
That's awesome.
Ours are upstairs.
Yeah, we don't worry. We have a household of dogs here too, man. Let's talk about living. Do you ever think the BassMasters Elite Series will ever come to Idaho and run an event?
There's been some speculation of it. They asked me about it. I think eventually they will.
Nice.
It's too good of a fishery, and you know, scenic. It's new view. The community afford it well. Our community is still fairly financially stable.
Yep.
So I think it's a possibility. A lot of it just has to do with timing, and you know, a lot of guys on tour would complain about it because it's so far. right? It's a really, really long from anything. It's
Yeah, for sure.
at minimum 30 hours from Texas. Most of the guys live east of Texas, so anyone from Tennessee is going to have to drive at least 40 to 45 hours. If you're Florida, you're minimum 50 hours.
Wow.
It's not just a hop, skip, and a jump away.
No, for sure. And that leads us into our next question.
Yeah.
When you're out on the Elite Series, how much tackle do you have to bring being a West Coast guy? Because most of the tournaments are in the East. Are you bringing your whole season?
I literally pack an entire 6.5 foot under a bed full of tackle.
Really?
I pack for the whole entire season because I don't. Usually, when my truck leaves here, it doesn't come home, depending on the season. I may come home once in July, but just for a little bit, and then I'm on the road again.
That's
So
crazy.
I think this year we spent 1 week at home in a 10-month period.
Wow.
I think is how long my truck was.
That's insane, man.
Wow.
That's a lot of gear to pack up and move across the country for fishing.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's really good for your gas mileage.
Yeah.
Really good for your gas mileage.
Okay, so you're going elk hunting on the weekend, and I've seen you out with the G-Man elk hunting, and you spend.
Yeah.
And I heard from our mutual friend Chris Van Vliet, you're about the busiest guy in the whole world, and you never break. So, where are you? Are you heading back out in the woods this weekend to hunt elk?
Yeah, so I'll be out. I'll be in Montana actually. So our season in Idaho for the most part is over for elk. We can still hunt deer, but I've also got a Montana tag over there, and their elk season runs until the 1st of December.
Okay.
So I'm going to be over there hunting probably 3 or 4 days. Go out in the woods, go in the backwoods, get out of cell service, and chase elk around in the mountains.
That's
There's
awesome.
going to be probably a lot of snow, more snow than I feel like hiking around in, but that's where they live.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
man,
for sure.
and that's beautiful. Like I can't even imagine. Like we don't have elk here or mountains or anything, so I can't even like. You're
Yeah.
so lucky to have that environment and fishing season that's open 365 days a year, and Idaho's the place to be.
It is. It is. As long as you don't mind driving. If you're okay with driving and towing the boat a long ways, it's great.
Everybody I talk to who's ever
Driving.
been to Idaho is like, you have to go to Idaho, and it's surprising how much I hear this.
Me being a deer hunter, I'm always hearing about the Idaho monster bucks. So anytime you want to invite a
Yeah.
FearFishing guy down, hey man, I'm in.
You can come. Now's the time to come. They're probably rutting as we speak. I
Oh
was
wow.
out last weekend, and the whitetail were kind of starting to get going. You can see them sniffing around a little bit.
Oh
but
yeah.
they're right now is about when they start to go off, and they're going to be making mistakes.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Nice.
Brandon, I know you want to get to your elk burger, so
Jealous.
before we let you go here, man, you got the Fear Fishing webcast
Yeah.
deal is to tell us your best fishing story. So throw down your funniest or your most memorable or whatever you got. Let's just hear your best fishing story.
Oh, does it? Well, I got lots of fishing stories. Just how do I narrow it down? Probably the easiest one to come to mind is the biggest bass I've ever caught. Most recently, actually, it was this spring. I think it was in April. Went down, met up with a buddy down in Texas, and we planned on doing nothing but throw swim bait. If I didn't fish tournaments for a living, I would do nothing but throw swim baits. Everywhere I went,
We
every
heard
day,
this.
I would just throw monster swim baits. That's all I would do.
I think I saw that.
That's
in
my
the,
hobby, I guess.
I saw that in a Swindle video the other day, and he was like, "All that Palanuik kid does is swim baits."
Yeah. I
Yeah.
throw a lot, and I have a lot of them. You can ask my girlfriend. We have a garage full of swim baits. Worth way too much money. And she says it's worth more than our house. But that's an exaggeration.
So how big was this
You
bass?
start talking $500 a pop.
No, yeah, for sure. I saw that. When I think of swim bait, I think of like a Berkeley hollow belly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
We're
don't-
talking like 12-inch, $500 hand.
Yeah, that's insane.
And but I went down with my buddy,
and our plan was just, go trophy fishing, try to catch a share lunker with him in Texas. And first day I got down there, I meet up with him. I drove like 5 hours that morning to get down there. I hop in the boat, and 45 minutes later, I caught a 9-pounder.
Wow.
On a giant swim bait.
Is that the
Big
fish that
bait.
was in your GoPro video? Is that?
Yeah, so there's a GoPro video of me a 9-pounder on a rope on a mother swim bait, big 12-inch, 10.5-ounce swim bait. So I caught a 9-pounder on that. And
Wow.
Then the next day, it was the next day, fishing day long. I had missed opportunities from big fish, double-digit fish, and I was getting all frustrated, and I went back in this little creek, and I was watching my electronics when we went in. I saw a bunch of big balls of shad sitting right in the creek channel at the bank. And so on the way out, I just put the boat right in the middle, and I kind of backed off and threw a big 8-inch Hud out there, and I just kind of slow rolled it down right into the lip of this creek channel. So you imagine there's all these shad sitting in this creek channel.
Yep.
And my bait just kind of slowly eases off of there, and I paused just for a second as it came off the lip.
Yep.
And the rod ripped out of him.
No way.
Like YouTube video. I got a 12-pound 4-ouncer.
Wow.
There's a little kid there and his grandpa, and they were all pumped up, and they wanted to see the fish.
That's awesome.
That was really very frustrating day that ended really awesome.
That is really awesome. That's a huge bass, man. Well, Brandon, I want to thank you so much for doing the show. That's really awesome. I hope we can have you back at another time too. You're such a good guy, and you have so many great topics that we still want to get to with you. But we'll let you get to that elk burger.
I appreciate it. Yeah, sign me up for the next one.
Awesome.
Do it again.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Brandon. And if I don't talk to you, good luck this season.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, man, and good luck elk hunting.
All right. See you.
See you, dude.
Bye.
That's crazy. Can you imagine a 12-pound bass?
Nope.
Isn't that insane? 18-pound walleye.
I can't believe it. It's nuts.
And let me tell you guys, is the feed from Idaho was a little shaky tonight, but they had a tremendous storm last night, and the power has been down, and Brandon still doesn't have power at his house, so we got everything there. It went in and out, but huge thanks to Brandon for even doing this after
for sure.
It's
gotta be a long, stressful day for him.
A tree landed on his parents' house today, and I didn't hear from him for hours, and all of a sudden I get a text message from Brandon saying, "I'm really sorry, dude. I didn't get to add you to Skype yet. I've been chainsawing a tree off my parents' house." So huge thanks to Brandon for doing the show. That was awesome. And there's a lot of information there. Like an 18-pound walleye is gigantic.
On a swim bait.
I want to go night fish Quinny right now. Like, seriously.
You could probably do it.
I want to
go.
go to Idaho.
I want to go to
We
I want to
seriously,
catch an
we seriously
18-pound
need to do
walleye.
this.
I think they would probably jam right up. Like
So the
down-
FearFishing crew is
Like in the
about
next
to
one.
go to the Bay of Quinny right now.
I'll pull a all-nighter.
Yeah, and you would think about those in the Picton area, all those shoals that come up to nothing. There's probably giant walleye.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Where do we get these swim baits?
I don't know.
Maybe after
I'll
we're done
tell you
the
one thing.
Adam knows.
I don't want to buy any.
Adam
at
knows.
$500 a pop.
I don't want to be on
I'll
that.
track down Brandon after we're done this, and I'll find us a line, a hookup on handcrafted trout swim baits. So there'd be trout there too.
Oh.
There would be.
There
Not
would
this
be
time of
trout.
year.
Yeah, there would be.
Yeah, well,
If anybody is watching this, actually, don't go to the Bay of Quinny and cast swim baits.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's bad.
It will not
I'll have a
happen.
great night of musky fishing.
Yeah, you will for sure.
Losing your
unreal.
$500.
Amber, did you
swim
find
bait.
any of those questions?
she did, but then she lost him
She's a
again.
huge Brandon Palanuik fan.
She is.
She is. Look at her smiling.
Don't tell anybody.
Did we talk about us going smallmouth fishing on rights?
No, we didn't.
I'm still
So-
laughing
We
at this
didn't.
video, I'm
First,
sorry.
Marley and I went fishing on rights,
Yep.
and I messed the GoPro video up.
Yeah, you did.
Somehow I changed one of the settings, and it.
I still haven't seen any footage of us.
I have the footage. It's good, but we went out there and we whaled this. We had a slow morning running the drop shot and dragging for them, but then we pulled up to a point with a marker buoy and we whaled them on the jerkbait. And we got a lot of fish on the jerkbait.
Yeah, you got 3 or 4 of them before I even retied.
Yeah, it's been a really good
was,
fall out
It was
there.
literally cast, bring one in, and I would go get the net. And
Yeah, and then
you know my daily duties.
and they were hardcore schooled up.
Oh yeah,
and
for
like
sure.
I've seen like smallmouth school up, but I'm not going to give away the spot, but
No,
every
but they were-
smallmouth in that lake is in one spot. It seems that's
Yeah.
not very big, and they're all right there.
Yeah, and I mean it. The boat traffic didn't bother them.
No, they didn't care at
whatsoever.
all.
No, and
Like,
there was a lot of boats there.
I was throwing my jerkbait pretty much under that tin boat, and I was whaling
Yeah.
them right off the side of it.
Yeah.
So it was crazy.
And even once they slowed down, we still managed to get a couple more.
Yeah, you got a couple like good ones at the end to
Yeah.
wrap up
I lost one.
the video.
Lost a good one
I
too.
still got to edit that up, but that was really good video.
Yeah, for sure. Nothing yet.
Amber,
There's so many that you have. I'm trying to.
Oh yeah,
find
we'll
the
just pick
post.
one.
just go
No, I'm trying to find where the question.
FearFishing
there was-
webpage.
You post too much.
FearFishing webcast page.
Adam, what's new in the world of Mr. Scriver?
You
Adam, fishing at all?
Why don't you tell them the story about, since we're on the Bay of Quinte, why don't you tell
Found it.
everybody quick the story about how you met Marley and I for the first time, and you tricked us into going on ice that was about 2 inches thick.
All right. I first met Ian and Marley on an early morning down in the Bay of Quinte, late February when the ice was starting to get to its old deteriorating ways, and due to current levels that most wouldn't seek or try, Ian and Marley were just actually getting ready. I think they were getting ready to go to a different launch or a different spot, and they happened.
Yeah, we were looking for thick ice.
Yeah, they.
Walkable ice.
I don't know if they happened to get lucky or unlucky, however they want to look at it, but we pulled into the parking lot, and they turned their truck around and decided to ask a couple crazy kids if we thought the ice was safe or how we knew the ice was safe. And we just said we knew it was safe because we'd been fishing it consistently for the previous couple weeks. So they asked if they could if we could guide them out onto some safe ice. So of course, us crazy kids, and we seen the awesome FearFishing logo on their back of their truck, we're like, oh yeah, come on out, right? And
The first thing I said to you guys was, do you want me to bring the power auger? And they were like, we don't need it.
You put your foot through it, man.
yeah, we weren't. We didn't. Augers weren't even a thought. We were just bringing ice chisels at that point. 'Cause
Oh God.
we knew we weren't gonna. We knew we weren't gonna hit anything more than 8 inches, but
8 inches.
8
We didn't
inches.
hit anything more than 4 inches. and so we're walking out there, right? And we're all kind of spread out. We get out to where they caught you guys had just caught a monster of a fish too, like the day before.
yep.
A big one. And they're right here. And I was like, all right, so who's gonna spud a hole? So I'm watching them spud, and I don't think it was 3 whacks, and they were through. There was no ice there. So then I was like, I'm here. I haven't
Those
gone
just
through
previous
yet.
holes, man.
I was like, I'm here. I haven't gone through. I'm going to stick it out. But I was so nervous about hooking one because they'd all come running over. There was no there was no ice there. We had to jump over a crack
Yeah,
to
there's
get there.
Yeah, a decent sized pressure crack there that you had to walk over, and it would even dip up and down when you went across.
Yeah, it was sketchy, like real. And this was like
Wow.
it was probably 3 or 4 years ago, so it wasn't like a cold winter. The mouth of the mouth of the Trent River when we did this was still open. You couldn't fish the mouth of the river.
Oh, it was
You-
really open.
It was open. There was no ice on the bay. It was crazy. But I guess we went. I didn't catch any fish though. I think you guys got a couple.
I think Marley did.
I lost one.
Yeah.
I think I got a small one and lost a good one.
We did go back to that spot though and crank them one time from 5 in the morning to 5 at night. Just absolutely destroyed fish. So it was worth it.
Nice.
Amber, do you got that question?
Yeah, I do.
Haha, she's figured it out.
Jeff Tanner.
She only had 2 hours.
I've lost the feed.
Buying a used bass boat. What to look for, motors to stay away from, what's too many hours, single or double console, etc., etc.
And that's a really good question because this time of year is bass boat for sale season.
Yeah,
There's bass boats everywhere. I'll give you my opinion. We'll let Marley speak on the engine because we'll let you tell the story of the Triton. When you bought the Triton, the engine didn't last long. And if you're not a guy who can rebuild one, because you rebuilt it, and it's been awesome since then.
It's been fine.
But for a guy like me who can't fix nothing, and if
He can't even fix himself a sandwich.
yeah, pretty much, I just catch fish.
No sandwich.
So
No sandwich for
when
you.
you're looking at a boat, I drive a single console bass boat. I don't think I'd ever have a double console bass boat just because we do a lot of filming, and I feel like that second console blocks a lot of what you see on film.
Yeah, for sure.
It opens the bass boat up a bit. You know, some boats are really set up nicely with the double console, but I kind of feel like for filming purposes, a single console works better. The shell of the boat isn't worth that much. A 19,
Right.
you know, it's all engine value. The engine's the
Yep.
expensive part of buying a boat.
Yep,
If
for
you
sure.
make the wrong decision on buying a boat, your $6,000 or $10,000 or $20,000 purchase can quickly turn into a $40,000.
Oh yeah,
or
for sure.
A new engine's, you know, I believe when I priced mine out, a new engine right out of the crate at one of the big box stores was $26,000 to put on
Mhm.
the engine. So there's nothing wrong with buying, you know, an old boat that has a fairly new engine.
Right.
You know,
So what are the hours you're kind of looking
What-
for?
what-
Is
what-
there, is there an hours mark or is it?
Marley knows way more about this than I do.
Yeah, it's like 500's a lot.
500's a lot?
So in like vehicle terms, how like is 500 like 300,000 on a truck kind of thing
No,
or?
it'd be like over 100, 150, 150,000 K, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But you
When
got to
see the
remember,
engine for like 800, 900 hours, those are like high milers.
yeah, for sure. And you got to remember these things run at 5,600 RPM all the time. They're not running,
Mhm.
they're not, you know, like a car engine. These things are high performance.
These things
Yep.
are screaming like if you drove your car down the road at 6,500 RPM all day, it wouldn't last that long.
No,
Yeah, that's
You
right.
go 5 kilometers and that'd it.
it'd be it. It'd be toast. So basically, you know, buy within your price range.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of, like Andrew Mercer. Andrew Mercer has like a 96 Ranger.
I love his Ranger.
It
I
is- it is
love
such a
It's
nice
like
boat.
Cadillac.
It is such a nice boat. It's got, you know, probably a 96 Merc engine on it, and he has no problems with that boat. And that boat is like a 19 footer with a 150 on it, and it was under $8,000, and it is beautiful.
Nice.
So unless you're looking to spend like gigantic money on something, there's nothing wrong with having a boat from 1995. And, you know, even if there's lots of deals where you see like a boat from 95 with a 2009 engine on it. If it's got less than, you know, 500 hours on it, it's probably a good steal.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not fair for me to say that everybody should go out there and buy a 21 foot with a brand new 250 at
Yeah.
$91,000. That's Canadian.
Yeah, for sure.
You just got to really, you know, if you buy a new Ranger, they can be hooked up to computers and you can get all the readouts on anything that's ever happened
Mhm.
to the engine. And, you know,
Is there any place you suggest that somebody might take their boat to get it inspected before they make a purchase or?
you know what? The best way to do that is find a buddy who knows a lot about boats. Find somebody who owns a bass boat.
Find a Marley.
Find a Marley.
Find Marley on Facebook and take him with you.
I'm busy.
But yeah.
Busy with Ian's stuff.
Yeah. So find somebody who knows a lot about boats. It comes a lot down to what engine, what brand, what year, what, you know, there's a whole bunch
Yeah.
of contributing factors. You know, there's lots of years of any engine that are just dud years. And,
Yep, for sure.
you know,
every manufacturer has their problems.
yeah.
Everything like that. The biggest thing you can do is like when you get the boat, new water pump,
Yeah.
and I'd be doing filters on it, and a water separator is a pretty good idea too.
Yeah,
to run,
for sure.
if it doesn't already have one, because that was what compromised my boat, was the water pump was smoked.
Oh, okay. So, and basically, Marley bought a used bass boat, and how many times did you get to use it before that engine blew?
A month.
And then, but you were like, Marty's really handy, and he rebuilt it in the shop, and you've had like 4 years, no problems with it now?
5 now.
5?
Yeah.
And it runs awesome.
Nice.
Yeah,
And-
knock on wood.
Well, if it blows up, it's
You know,
fixable.
what
Everything's fixable.
the first engine I ever had,
Good for you.
I ran it. I bought it used in 2008, and I ran it till last season, and finally it blew up, and so that's like almost 8 years,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a lot. Like I put a lot of hours on that thing, and it ran great right up to the last 6 months. It had some issues, and then blew up at the classic.
The best
So-
timing ever.
Ouch.
Yeah, awesome, eh?
Best timing ever.
It's a
It is
toss up.
what it
Take
is.
somebody who knows a lot about boats with you if you're going to purchase a new used boat. That's realistically that's the best thing you do. Make sure you take it for a test drive. Make sure it runs good, and it's like anything else. If it's a good deal and you feel confident about it, buy the boat. Get out on the water.
Would you like another question?
Sure, let's do one more.
I got another few. Actually, I
Do
found
you?
the feed. Yeah, I
Oh,
totally.
here we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're lighting it up now.
Yeah. Craig Bradley, if given the chance to fish anywhere with anyone, who would you fish with, and where and what time of year?
That's a loaded question.
Do we all
right
get
there.
to answer
Totally.
that question?
Sure.
I'm gonna
Uh,
just
are
jump
we
right
doing-
in and say Jason Mitchell, wintertime, Devil's Lake.
I'm gonna pick two. I really want to go walleye fishing with Brandon Palanuik in Washington State, and I'd be happy with a 13-pounder. If I could go, it's tough. I really think now that I got to interview Ike and I got to talk to Ike, I'd really like to go bass fishing with Mike Iaconelli
Any kind of
No.
fishing.
on Falcon Lake,
Oh, that's a good one.
because I want to catch a deep water,
Yep.
huge largemouth, either on a crankbait or a Carolina rig.
Crankbait.
I'll take one on each. Marley, where you at?
Just being picky.
I'm with the Brandon thing for walleye after tonight. That would be up there, and then Okeechobee probably
Yeah,
with Scott Martin.
Scott Martin on
I'd like to
Okeechobee.
do that.
Amber,
That's my flip game.
where are you gonna go fishing? Who are you going with?
I'm gonna pick two,
Who?
because I like to have fun when I'm in the boat. Not
Okay.
like I have when you and I fight.
When our
in the boat.
domestics?
Yeah. I want to fish with G-Man and
G-Man?
Fat Cat Newton.
Fat Cat.
Oh, fat cat.
I really
Fat
want to fish
Cat.
with G-Man though. I think I want to go ice fishing with G-Man just to hear him.
I
maybe
really
complain
have a
about
feeling that the
ice.
G-Man's
I-
not gonna go ice fishing.
I would
would
like
love
to
to see
hear him.
that show.
Because his big Snowmageddon last year was
Yeah,
awesome watching
and-
that.
The
and-
Frost.
Yeah.
The
And
frost?
the bread, them snow sandwiches.
Could
like
you-
I lived
yeah.
with that. I
Yeah.
ate bread and
I
snow
don't know if
sandwiches for a
Gerald could
week.
handle a foot of snow and 18 inches ice.
No.
I think it just
But
mind
I-
to be blown.
I
And-
think it would be really entertaining to
Oh,
do that.
for
absolutely, for sure.
100%.
G-Man, if you're out there.
G-Man, if
Ooh,
you're out there, you
I
want to
want
come
to
to
go fishing.
I want to go
And
ice
Lulu,
fishing.
with Lulu too.
I saw Lulu pictures of Lulu hunting.
Yeah,
I
with her
did too.
face paint, it
She's
was
all
awesome.
geared up. Got the
Yeah.
bow out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a great time.
Yeah, they do. They're like the happiest
She's
couple
like driving
fishing.
the tractor.
Yeah, I saw that.
What are you doing? I'm working.
I'm working, just working. You got any more on there? We'll do one more.
Scott Walton wants to know, when buying new fishing rods and reels, what are the important factors to go into to deciding what to buy?
Whatever you feel confident in,
Mhm.
whatever rod and reel you pick up, and you go, "Oh my God, that's the one." That's what you should use. And as soon as you pick a rod up, and we were at Gaining on
Yes.
Sports when I
Yeah.
used, Justin brought rods in for us to mess around with. And as soon as I picked that rod and reel combo up, I was like, "Oh my God,
Yeah, what was that? It
I
was
could. This is perfect."
Shimano core and
Yeah, a Shimano
I don't
core,
know what
and
the rod
it was.
actually. I can't remember.
I'm not even sure what kind of rod it was, but as soon as I grabbed it, I envisioned Zaldane
Yeah.
on the California Delta
The
drop
power
shotting,
drop shotting.
power drop
Yeah,
shotting.
yeah.
And as soon as I picked that rod up, I was like, "That is the perfect setup for this." And so when I'm picking a new rod and reel, put it together, and if you You hold it in your hand and you go, oh my God, I'm going to flip with this. Or you go, that's the perfect jerkbait rod. Or, man, I could really see me cranking with this. That's the rod you should choose. No matter if it costs $70 or $500, whatever you feel in your hand is going to, you'll just know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and money's not a huge thing. I mean, you can pick up, like, you and I have both got quite a few.
I got a ton of rods.
Quite a few.
I'm a bit of a rod junkie.
Like, I'm just saying, like, $100
I
rods.
I got lots of $100 rods. I have lots of $400 rods, and for a flipping stick, honestly,
everyone makes a flipping stick, and everyone makes a block of wood.
But do you, I mean, there's lots of rods. Like I have a $400 drop shot rod, and you can feel everything with it. I got maybe I have 5 flipping sticks that I use. 2 of them that I use for flipping jigs. The 2 rods and reels I use exclusively for flipping jigs. They're like $120 rods.
Yeah.
I have the ones that I use in the cane. They're $100 rod, and then I have a couple higher quality end flipping sticks that I will use on like a Texas rig with a 1/4 ounce head, because when that largemouth picks it up, I'll be able to feel the bite better. I mean, I just mentally feel like I'll feel the bite better.
Right.
And it's kind of confidence in your equipment.
And that's the whole thing, is confidence.
Yeah, for sure. That's what it is. It's if you got a rod and reel, you think you get fishing.
I've got like a 10-year-old quantum tour frogging rod that I won't sell. I won't get rid of. I just love it, right? And that thing is as stiff as a new 2x4.
What's an old 2x4 like?
Marley has fishing reels we used when we first started fishing. Yep. Yeah, and they've lasted the time and test, and like they're bulletproof.
I've got an old, I think it's like a Daiwa Alexa.
There's lots of times you go out and buy like the new Rage, and it just doesn't feel good.
Yeah, for sure.
There's time tested and true classics out there that there's lots of gimmicky stuff.
Oh yeah.
I stay away from the gimmicky stuff. You can't go wrong with, one of the big brands and just picking which reel you really feel good with. And I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we all have different.
You got different hands. And I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'4". When I jerkbait, I use a 6'8", 7 foot rod, just because I'm taller. If you're 5'4", it doesn't make sense for. It doesn't make sense for Amber, who's 5'4", and me, who's 6'4", to use the same.
5'1".
I was trying to give you a couple inches there, sweetie. It doesn't make sense for us to use the same length of rods, right?
No. And I still find myself hitting the gunnel now and then.
Yeah, for sure.
And
fishing is all about confidence. I can't stress enough how much fishing is about having confidence in your spots, your gear.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all
what
here
you're using.
too.
It's right here.
It's all right here.
You want to know where to cast? It's right here. All right. Wow. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. This has been a great show. Brandon was awesome. Corey was awesome in the first part of the show. It's been a great night. So, 2 weeks we may have. I'm going to find out information tomorrow about our next webcast, and as soon as we find out, it's a go. But it could be huge, the next one.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, this room could turn into something huge.
It could. So, from everybody here at the FearFishing webcast, good night, and we'll see you in about 2 weeks. Thanks, guys.